Now we can keep that here. We're not blue anymore. Okay.
Something with my hair.
Okay, now we have that up. And then I'm going to send this out. Copy the wonderful world of Discord. And then after that, then we'll be good to go. Give time for peeps to get in here.
I'm just jamming some tunes, as always. I'm just going to let you advertise because we do kind of want the main traffic to come to your site now.
Sounds good. Then I will...
Before we do actually get anyone in, I did want to quickly ask, because we're just putting it on your site now, would you be happy with anything that's donated throughout the show? We just split 50-50 and work out how to
that's
do
fine.
it at the end.
Yeah, that's fine, because I can always take a thing of it and then either just give you an emoji back type
or
thing,
exactly, or work something like that out. As long as you're happy with that, that's all.
Yep, make sure I don't make that mistake. Take out the @everyone if I'm gonna be sending this elsewhere.
Are you not allowed to do @everyone?
Definitely not in in Caffeine's Discord.
No, they don't like that.
Oh God, why? I keep forgetting because I'm Metals by Mike. I need to hop on. Gotta hop on Noob Television Discord. I am transferring everything over where Noob Television will be on my gaming PC and cell phone, and Metals by Mike can be on the work one. It's actually reversed where Metals by Mike is on everything except for the work PC. It makes no sense, but we will be.
Fair enough.
Okay, sending that. Perfect. Now that we are the right people. Where are we at? Streaming. Paste. Yep, sending all this. You should be seeing it everywhere. Popping up everywhere. We're in about all of the exact same doodads. So, promote. Stream soup, announcements. Paste. And I think that is it, my friends. Hey-ho, the Dapper Cat, how you doing?
Hey,
welcome.
Dappers.
Whew. Sweet. Sweet. I'm done here. My job is done. Oh, well, for that part. I have a whole lot of other work to do. Doing great.
What's today? Well, you're just going to have to stay tuned and find out.
Talking and more talking. Following talking.
There will be talking. There will definitely be talking. A lot of talking. There will be topics and subjects and
title. I don't even know what
we will
title
have conversations.
Since we talk, I mean the kind of gist of it is it's usually about 6 topics always.
Yeah, I think we try and do sort of 6 stories a show and then 2 little feature pieces, and then try and balance the story between industry news and games as much as possible.
Yep.
That would be a very good assumption. Just yeah.
Definitely about gaming. We're not hair tipping or other stuff.
Actually, today I thought we'd talk about my wonderful collection of Barbie dolls.
Sold. There we go. Sweet. Now it's not like right up on my face. I like that.
That's how I'll get to 100 followers. Barbie dolls.
Whatever works. If you have to go down that road, fix the title.
I don't think I'd be associating with the right kind of audience if they were coming in to hear me talk about Barbie dolls. Let's be honest.
Fix the title. Did I just put
Caffeine might have
I see. The gamey world. Ha! The gaming. Oh, wait. Did I? Oh, it's because I ran out of... That's what it was. Aha, I see. I ran out of characters. Will this change automatically, or do I have to, like, reset? Hey, welcome to Buddha Viking.
But
It'll change auto. Now, that's good to know. Okay, Noobs The Gingerback. Gaming industry. Sweet, I can get that, so that's good. I don't know how long it takes for it to reset, but it's...
Usually takes a minute or two.
Fox the gaming industry. That's good enough. It's because I put Streamcast in. It was such big words. That and Noobs and the Gingerback that's like a whole title in itself.
Apparently, Buddha can't hear our audio. Dapcat, do you have the same negative experience with the audio at the moment?
A lot of it has to do with the weird OBS stuff. Casil.
Shut up, Dapper.
What was that? Rushinovsky. Welcome.
Rushinovsky. All right.
Okay, I think I'm good to go here. Hopefully it changes the title for the better.
Yeah, I'm just getting my stuff sorted.
Can't hear noob. What do you mean?
I can hear you fine, but that's through Discord. So
yeah. Well, I'll say because everyone, shit. If anything, I should be super loud the way that I have it set up. Nazororvi? I don't know what that means.
Nazdrovi.
Me no know.
It's Russian for cheers.
Casil!
Nazdrovia.
I want you to hear me, Casil. Whew.
Alright, let me turn down my music here.
Slide this bad boy over so I can keep tabbies on the talk. There we go.
They're saying that they can't hear you, Noobs. So you can hear my audio fine, guys, but you can't hear Noobs.
Story of my life.
Can you hear him? Can you hear him at all?
Story. Hello.
Every week we seem to have a different technical problem.
Yeah, it's never the same.
None. So apparently there's none of your audio going through, Noobs. Dappercat says it's all good.
I was gonna say, I mean, everything is... I haven't touched anything. It all should work.
So, Rashinovsky, the question remains, is the issue on your end? Try it. Let me clear some more windows here that I don't need.
Yeah, because they have a bunch of weird stuff, like... One of them is, if we're in OBS and you're on a cell phone, you can't hear me. If I'm doing a thing and then you're on a browser, you can't hear me. Like, there's so many bugs and weird stuff.
What platform are you watching on, Rashinovsky? Are you on the phone or are you on a computer?
Because I thought phone... Google Chrome. I don't know. Because I thought, like, cell phone...
No idea.
And OBS had issues. But, I mean, every time I've ever done this with Divide, there's always a few people...
Try on my stream, Rashinovsky. If you go onto my stream, can you hear both of us on the audio there? Speak Noobs quickly.
Yeah, can you hear me over there? Hello?
Yeah, so you can. So you can hear there. So if anyone's having issue with audio, go onto my stream. You can listen to the audio there, but we suggest you have the video open on Noobs because he's going to have all the video stuff.
There we go. Audio, video.
It's not ideal, but unfortunately, that's what we're dealing with at the moment. We are constantly trying to get this better, but as I said just now, we seem to have a different technical issue every single week. Which is
welcome, Rocket Bunny. Welcome. Hey, I think the best thing is getting your video.
Hi, Rocket Bunny.
Imlu.
Yeah.
Welcome.
We've got that better, which is good.
So yeah, we get to see your face in fluid motion, and that's a win for the day for me.
and at the same time as while I'm talking, which is, you know, another victory.
Yes. No more strobe look. No more strobe effect.
Brilliant. At least I can't be blamed for anyone's epileptic seizure anymore. That makes my day a little bit brighter, at least. Right, so cue dramatic intro music. Noobs on the Gingerback, welcome. This is our weekly Sunday show. What was that?
I don't know.
What was that noise? Thank you. Anyway.
That's the noob holler. The noob something. I don't know.
Well, guys, if you don't know what we like to do here, every Sunday we have this show where we just come and we just like to talk about what's going on in the video game industry, because we both just love video games. And we like to have a good mixture of stories about the industry as well as new games coming out and things like that. So we try to keep a good mix. Now, the format is constantly changing, so it might be a little bit different to what you saw last week if you watched last week. And we're always trying to make the experience better for you guys overall. So, getting straight into it, our first story of the week, and it is a esports player recently who used a homophobic slur and set off an unexpectedly long debate about the use of homophobic slurs in video games and in video game online communities. Now, Noobs, do you read much about this? Do you know much about the story?
Yeah, I actually bumped into it from the powers of cell phones, where you swipe the other way, gives you a little news feed. I happened to see it the other day, and I mean that's a huge thing where, you know, as broadcasters, streamers, or whatever they may call themselves, is like you're never swipe. You don't want to. I mean, you're engaging an audience. You know, you're representing. You know, you're the face, the figure for so many people. Like, they look up to you, and like the stuff that you do affects everything, you know, affects other people. And a lot of people, they don't think whenever they go in to start streaming, like what they're saying. And then in this person's case here, you know, one's either a slip or intentional, either or, now, you know, for him had repercussions. So I see it a lot. I think this is the first time that maybe it's because he's an esports player, you know, it's on a grander level, but I have seen other cases where this has happened to fellow streamer, broadcaster. It happens in the movie industry a lot as well, where, you know, the stuff like that actually catches up and then will, you know, bite you in the butt. You know, just like this person here, I think now has a 30-day ban because of it, which probably isn't extreme enough.
Well, I think what really gets me with this story is reading on the Kotaku story, which is on their website. There's one sentence specifically which really jumps out at me, and that's where they say, and in quotes, I'm reading directly from the article, but somehow we're now 1 week into an ongoing discussion in the esports scene about when it is or is not okay to use slurs in the heat of anger. I'd like to answer that question for them very, very simply. It's not okay. Why is that even a question? Like, it's not okay to do that. It is not okay to use derogatory slurs or derogatory language against anyone under any circumstance, whether or not you're online, whether or not you're playing a multiplayer game, whether you're standing in the street right in front of them. It is not okay. Why is this a question? Is it just because in gaming it's so socially acceptable to use derogatory slurs? Oh, but they don't mean anything because it's just on the internet. No, it's not okay. Simple as that. What do you think?
Well, and I mean, people have to realize, like, it's sportsmanship. You know, if like you use that word because you died, like people shouldn't even.
I'm going to interrupt you right there. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you right there.
Well, it's poor sportsmanship, is what I mean.
It's common decency. It's just common decency. We don't use that kind of language towards other people. Why is that such a big deal? Just don't do it. There's no situation where it is okay. Just don't do it.
Well,
it's not a case.
And I agree with that, but as in the gaming world, you know, for sportsmanship purpose, like, you shouldn't be doing that at all. Like, you should be better than that as an esports player, you know, to not do anything. Like, I agree, like, you shouldn't do it anywhere in the world, but, you know, in that aspect, you should already been coached or trained to not be toxic and have that garbage attitude mentality. But yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you. It shouldn't be done anywhere.
Just answer a comment that's come up on my stream here. Casil, yes, that is the question that's being asked at the moment within the esports community. When is it and when is it not okay to use any kind of slur in the heat of anger? That is actually the question that people are posing right now.
Yeah, I mean,
it's ridiculous. If you
slurs,
ask me.
nothing. Never.
And I do think that there needs to be a bigger responsibility on the esports industry as a whole, because we've seen what's going down this kind of line. What the kind of outcomes are in other major sports. Yeah, you look at any other sort of major competitive sports. These kind of problems early on in it does create larger issues further on, because it's creating this atmosphere of being too competitive. It's creating this atmosphere of it's so competitive that you actually have something against someone personally, in order to show that you're better than them as a player. And this kind of mentality, I think, has led to a huge amount of problems in traditional sports, of steroids abuse, of athletes fighting each other off the pitch, all this kind of stuff. And esports as an industry needs to take more responsibility to prevent that outcome further down the line. And I think they need to smash down on people like this.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, the 30-day ban, somebody needs to be made an example of to prevent other people, where...
Not enough. 30 days is not enough.
Yeah.
It's not going to change his fundamental behavior. It's not going to, he thinks it's a joke. He probably thinks this is all a big laugh. It's like, it's just brought more attention to his channel. So when he does come back on, guess what? Everyone's going to be like, oh, is he going to do it again? Is he going to do it again?
Oh, yeah.
Well, response to what he did.
And it's where that, like,
personal response.
Like, bad publicity is still good publicity. For him, like, this still isn't a negative, because now all the trolls in the woodwork are going to be like, ooh, I want to watch this guy do some crazy stuff. Like, now he's just targeted as the crazy guy. The one you watch at a wedding because he's going to get drunk and go dancing. Like they've already pinned him as that guy. So, but yeah, I mean,
the trolls have a martyr now. That's all they've done. That's all it's accomplished. And I mean, it goes back to PewDiePie, and everyone knows what's happened there. And other kind of top people, and there seems to be a surprise when these people do this kind of thing. A surprise from themselves. Like PewDiePie was surprised that people thought he was a Nazi because he called he called someone the N-word live on his stream. Like, why are you surprised by this? Like, what's the how did you not realize this would be the reaction?
And it's so weird, because like even like him and then Logan Paul, like they're still on the platform like that. When you're rich, and let's say you make $100 million a year, and you're like, oh, $1 million to me is a lot of money, but when you find someone $1 million, to them, I mean, that's our $20. And like I have a lawyer, because it's like, oh, I'm gonna go 20 over. I know I can take care of it because I can afford it. So I do reoccurring.
Let's be careful of what kind of behavior. Let's just be careful of what kind of behavior we're inciting.
But I'm just saying, like,
to speed. Just saying,
never do it. I'm always in a hurry. But it's just one of those where people, once they have the money to do certain things, to them in their head, like, the rules don't apply because they can buy their way out. And that's what a lot of these people are doing until you physically hurt them, in the wallet to where, like, they think about it. That's the only way they're going to learn. A 30-day ban, I mean, he's still making outside money. He can do other stuff somewhere else on another platform. I mean, it's not hurting that guy, and he's not learning anything.
I think you actually quite nicely summed up the problem.
You're cutting out a little.
Looking at his reaction. Am I cutting out a bit? Is that better?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there for a sec you were kind of...
All right, I was probably just sat at a weird angle on my microphone. I think you framed the problem quite nicely there, and that is this player, when it happened, he typed in his chat, faggot, and then as it happened, he even said, I'm probably going to get banned for this. You're doing something wrong. You fully admit and recognize that you're doing something wrong and that you shouldn't be doing it, and you just do it anyway because who the fuck cares? What are they going to do to me? That, I think, behavior is kind of completely wrong, and I don't mean that as disrespect yourself in terms of what you just said. In that, I've got a lawyer, I can speed a little bit because it's going to cost me $20. I think that's the mentality that's wrong, and that kind of mentality is what perpetuates this kind of behavior and creates these really toxic online communities that I personally want no part of.
Yeah, and
end of story. I think
that's why I love it here. No toxicity. Caffeine plug.
But yeah. I mean, we can argue about that till blue in the face all day long. But yeah, saying horrible things to people online is wrong. Don't do it. And if you are someone that has any kind of influence over an internet community of any sort, even more so, don't do it. You'll get in trouble. Don't be a dick. Right. Moving on. And this is now our first game-based story for the day. And this is going back to an E3 announcement by Bethesda. Just very, very, very briefly. This is heartbreaking news for myself. Okay. And Noobs, did you see the announcement of Starfield then?
Oh yeah, I did. I saw it. I didn't understand it. I was like, I like what's happening, and I was expecting more, and then when it cut out after the minute, I was like, you dangled my emotions on a string, and I was like, what's going on?
No, I've been following this quite carefully since they first started talking about Starfield. So when I heard when I saw this at E3, I was like, oh, brilliant. This is going to be their next big game. It's Fallout 76 this year. Then next year it'll be Starfield. That'll be the big game. We're going to have this awesome sci-fi RPG. And I love sci-fi. I love RPGs. So I was very excited about this. But now, Todd Howard has said in a more recent interview that Starfield is, when they said at the original announcement, Starfield is a next generation, they mean in terms of hardware and gameplay. So in other words, this is a next-gen console game, which makes me really sad because it doesn't feel like there's a next-gen console on the way by the end of next year, let's say. Look, that was my expectation for Starfield release. But I don't think that's going to happen by the end of next year. I don't think we're even 2 years from next-gen consoles yet, which means we're not going to see Starfield anytime soon, and I am saddened by this.
Yeah, and I'm always confused about that, because like when I think E3, I'm like, when I see it, I expect it coming out that year. Like, that's my mental state every time I go into E3. It's like, when I see it, I expect it to be within that fiscal year or whatever. Not a whole other console leap, away.
Bethesda is generally very good with that, Let's not get onto that conversation yet. Okay, we will eventually. That conversation is coming one day, but
that's how I feel there.
It's still,
if they're not
still got mixed feelings about what's happening there. Very mixed feelings. I don't know what to think yet. But anyway, on to the subject at hand. Yes, you think E3, you think in the next kind of fiscal year, and Bethesda usually are very good at that. I mean, they announced Fallout 76, they announced Rage 2 just before E3 happened, and they're both coming out this year. And traditionally in other years, they've done similar things as well. So when they said Starfield, I thought, okay, that's going to be next year. And they even said, yes, pre-production on a normal kind of production timeline, that would put it somewhere end of next year. And then they said Elder Scrolls 6, and that's kind of pre-production. Okay, so that would be the year after. That made sense to everyone. And now they're saying, oh no, these timelines could be a lot longer than that.
Yeah, especially when you're putting it on hardware and not so much, you know what I mean? Like, because then it leaves it open because nobody even knows that next step. Nobody has, an answer when the hardware, so you can't even put a date because now they put it on this thing that nobody even knows about. It's like, I don't know if it's just a way to kind of like take the heat off them, be like, oh, well, it's PlayStation, Xbox, PC, or someone else's, we're waiting on them. Like, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about.
And to Buddha the Viking, just to answer, yes, they did also announce Doom Eternal, but that falls under the subject of current gen consoles, because that will be one of the games there this year. We're talking now about games which are moving towards next gen console, and when would we actually be likely to see next gen console? I don't think the next 2 years. When do you reckon we could see next gen consoles still coming?
I mean, anything's could be at any time. I mean, you always have stories and stipulations of going off of repeat patterns and things like that. Like you would. And I know, like, they're starting to talk and surface rumors about, different things like Xbox or PlayStation.
Are they, though? Are they really? I think it's just people. I think people are making shit up. I don't think there's any talk of next-gen consoles.
Stirring the pot a little.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft may have gone, ooh, we have a great graphics card. This would be good for a next-gen console. But that doesn't mean that they're busy making one. They've just...
Well, they promised they weren't supposed to be doing a lot of that crazy stuff. It's supposed to be Xbox One X is kind of like, this is where we're at. Yeah. We're going to be here for a while. PlayStation never claimed anything like that. So, they can go on to do a 5 and Nintendo can do whatever. But, like, Xbox was supposed to hang out for a long time because that was the whole purpose of this this new system
But
was more.
this is where rumors are coming from. It's unrelated, sort of hardware advancements that people have literally speculated and going, well, this is something that we could maybe at some point see in a next gen console, potentially, yes. And people are taking this, there's a next gen console. Ah! No, there isn't. Okay, so. I mean, there's a lot of people saying that we've got next-gen consoles possibly coming out next year already. Not a chance. I mean, you can usually feel when these things are going to happen. You get all the leaks, and you do see a significant progression in graphical technology, but before a next-gen console comes out. And I don't think that we've seen that recently. We haven't seen enough of that to warrant next-gen consoles yet. I mean, they're still working out what to do with the current gen stuff. They're still unlocking that. I mean, just look at what Death Stranding is doing graphically. I mean, that's current gen. It's incredible.
Yeah, and I think that, with consoles, there's always in the back of my mind, it's like 8 to 10 years, and then and we're not even to that mark yet. So it's like, I wouldn't expect it to be this year just on past stuff anyway. So if somebody did say that PS5 or something was coming out this year, I wouldn't even believe it, because it's not in the core history of consoles coming out. Usually that takes a while for them to sit. But I mean, I do feel that it's close, because most consoles have an original release. They have a Slim, they have a this, they have a that, and like Xbox has already, put out 3 different versions. PlayStation's had their different versions. So I feel like we have a few years, and then like that's kind of where we're gonna be.
Well, I mean, one can argue that the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X is an. I mean, it uses a different, I believe, a completely different architecture on the graphics cards, even that just allows it to upscale to higher end. So one could argue that that's next gen, that they've just integrated a very good backwards compatibility system into it. I don't know. I'm not an expert. Someone who is, maybe please put some shit in the comments and tell me I'm completely wrong. But I just, it just comes back to, I just don't think that we've seen enough of a technological advancement to warrant even pretending that there's going to be next gen coming anytime soon. Personally.
I mean, I'm happy with what we have for my wallet's sake. Yeah, let's, we can
absolutely.
go another 5 years. let's get some time frame, or at least mix it up, like different years. I remember like the one year buying a PlayStation 4 and then like 2 days later going out and buying an Xbox One, and I was like, that's expensive. And then, I had to upgrade to the Pro and the Xbox One X. I'm like, yeah, we have to just tone it down a little. So I'm ready for a gap.
This is the other side of it. They are, at the end of the day, running a business. Fortunately, Sony's spending all their money buying developers. Xbox is spending all their money on being, fuck knows what they're actually doing with their money. They're spending their money on backwards compatibility. Nintendo Switch is spending their money on just remastering games for their consoles so they have something for play. So fortunately, people don't seem to be investing into new consoles. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Keep it up. Everything looks great. Just keep making them better content. That's all we want. But yeah, moving on from that subject. And again, guys, if you want to add to it, please drop us some comments. Go onto the Discords. Noobs is all my own. Drop us some comments there. Tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you all. So moving on to our next story, and I don't know, but they are making a Sonic movie.
Yeah. Okay. So if it isn't bad enough,
they're making. Yeah, Noobs, you know more about what's going on with this, so please go ahead, take it away. Tell us why, just why. That's all
I don't know. When I think live action, I feel like the first one that came out was Super Mario. As a kid, I loved it. Now looking back, it's rough. Sonic being
wasn't Mortal Kombat before Mario?
No.
Wasn't it?
No.
Oh, fair enough.
I think Mortal Kombat was somewhere in the 94, 95-ish range, and I think it was 92 or 93 was Super Mario Bros.
Was that awful Super Mario Bros. Like the first video game?
It was their start into the film industry and totally wrecked it. But
I have to say, I love that movie, by the way.
I mean, like I said, as a kid, you enjoyed it. It didn't have to be just because of the name.
It was awful. Awful. It's a terrible film, but I love it because it's terrible.
But the thing about it is, like, Sonic to me was my next brother. Mario was the first one to come in, then Sonic was the next one. So then now, when I hear, like, in the Mario realm, you had humans, Mario, Luigi, Princess. Yeah, you had the little, Bowser person. That's a little off scale.
Koopas, yeah.
But he was human. So like when you do something like that, I could see where you can bring that into, you know, real life. But a blue hedgehog versus a real hedgehog, and then just like the craziness, which is Sonic, I feel like animated, perfect. Double Dragon and Street Fighter.
They've done animated. They've done animated to great success. The Sonic TV shows were really successful, and they were great shows. I watched them as a kid. You know, why try and mess around with live action? You know, the animated stuff is good. DC DC animated films are fucking amazing.
I was getting ready to bring up. I was like, yeah, the DC world in animation is awesome.
Oh yeah, like screw their live action films. Their animated series, their animated films are fantastic. But anyway, I digress.
Now, okay, we're dealing with the Sonic live action thing that they actually Nintendo said that they're going to go in and do Mario now. So now both iconic people are coming in to do this stuff, and it's like, why does it have to be live action? Like I'm down with just Unreal 4 graphic type style movie animated.
Do you know where it would work? Action film would work exceptionally well if they just did exactly what people who grew up playing those games and probably still play some of those games now just do exactly what they want and just do a full-on like stoner mushroom eating hallucination. Oh, I'm Mario running around jumping on things. Just
we need Mel Brooks.
Fall into that.
Mel Brooks and just have him go 100%.
in. I'd watch the shit out of that. And you know what? I don't care how bad you make it. I'd still love it because it'd just be so funny. Just embrace that weirdness of the whole thing. Don't try and make it serious. Don't try and make it educational. Just
Mario and a half-baked come together and make a movie.
Exactly. Exactly. Why not? You know, fuck it. Let's have Dave Chappelle as Luigi, as his adopted black gay brother. Like, fuck it. Why not? It'll be hilarious. I'd watch the shit out of it, you know?
Well, I guess, you know, I mean, on the whole topic of live action, I mean, we're, you know, movies that you enjoyed, like, what are your top 3 live action? You know, what did you... Okay. What did it for you? I think there's like 58 of them.
I think we need to reshape the question. Are you talking about games that video game movies that exist or video game movies that I'd love to see? Because I think
they're going to be both. It's going to be a 2-part question, and I'm going to let animated slide with this as well because there's only 58 live action video game space movies, and then
no, we can't do live action only.
Well, no, I know I'm opening it to animated as well. Because there's a few of those, but I mean, yeah, animated or live action, you know, go. What's your top 3, and then what would you like to see be made into a movie?
Okay, let's start with my top 3. And the problem here is there's not a huge amount of choice in it. So my first choice is a bit of an odd one, I'd say, and one that a lot of people probably don't agree with, and that's the first Resident Evil film. That's
exactly what I had on my list too. I
just thought tonally it very much matched the first game. Yeah,
and that soundtrack.
The story wasn't. Yeah, the soundtrack was amazing, and it was a good, scary film. Yes, they took some creative licenses, but you know, the whole laser corridor and everything to kind of do something a bit more unique and action orientated. I'm fine with that. I'm completely fine with that. It was cool. And seeing that guy like dodging around and just get sliced up into little cubes. Awesome. Loved it. I'm down with that. Cool. And then, yeah, there's a lot to be said about the rest of the franchise. But that film, I thought tonally they got right. And it fitted with the tone of the original game. And then it added the right amount of story. Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
And I agree. I agree. That was one of mine too, so...
So my second one, I'm actually going to change. I originally thought it was going to be Tomb Raider, but I've changed my mind, and it is going to be Final Fantasy 15 Kingsglaive. All right, so this was a anime film that they released around the same time as Final Fantasy 15. That kind of, and if you've played the game, you'll understand this. In that first section of the game, just before the city gets attacked, the movie happens alongside that. and shows us what happened when the city was attacked in the game, and Nox's father died, blah, 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 blah. It shows you all of those series of events from the perspective of one of the palace soldiers. Incredible animation, fantastic voice cast, including Paul Aaron from Breaking Bad, who is fantastic in it. And it's just such a brilliantly put together film for something which essentially was kind of an add-on to a much bigger piece of media. It was just fantastically done, and I thought it was beautiful and yeah, well directed, well put together.
Final Fantasy, they know how to do it. I wish they had a whole nother department just for movies. Like, I just want you.
Oh, just for anime films.
Just to give me movies.
That brings me onto my number one, which is also a Final Fantasy film, which is Advent Children. Now, yeah, people argue there's some stylistic issues in there, and there's certain scenes which kind of definitely break up the dynamic that's happening, break up the tone that's happening with just a little too much weirdness, a little bit like, what was that? But overall, as a film, just fantastically put together, incredible animation. Even in the English voice cast, the Japanese voice cast, whatever voice cast, it's all quality voice recording and voice acting. The script is good. It makes sense. Yeah, it's a little bit dodgy in some places, but that's going to happen when you translate from Japanese to English. So yeah, there are parts where the script is a bit weak, but overall as a film, and if you're a fan of Final Fantasy VII, it's a fantastic film to watch and an incredible piece of entertainment. That's my top three.
I agree. I've never played 7, but I have friends that talk about it all the time that play it like every year over and over. So I have a gist of like what happened to kind of correlate, with the movie. But yeah, the movie was amazing. It didn't even have to say Final Fantasy. It could have just said, Jim's Wild Adventures, and like me watching it, it blew my mind.
No, I disagree. It has to be connected to the original game, because that's the only way that anything in that makes any sense. If you don't connect it to the original game, it's just a lot of weirdness and crazy.
Yeah, and like I said, not really knowing about the game that much, just knowing Final Fantasy in general, like I could kind of keep up with it. But yeah, it was an amazing movie. Now, what about
three, then?
Oh, mine? Okay, well, I had Resident Evil as well, but I'll change it up a little bit. The original Mortal Kombat. Like, as a kid, I want to know somebody in their late 20s, early 30s, that you still, if I put on the Mortal Kombat theme song, are not going to start kicking and punching and swinging. Tell me that. That's what I want. Yeah, that song right there. I just got goosebumps. Like, just even thinking about it. Like, that. As a kid, I mean, most people, you want to do wrestling or fighting or, stuff. That's just kind of like the growing up thing. And then they had a movie based off a game. And I think they did a good job. I mean, replicating the characters, with the few that were in.
Era, they could have done a lot worse, definitely.
They did a good job of adding a lot of the characters from the games. Now that the other ones got crazy, because then I don't know, just the characters weren't as fun anymore. They were just a bunch of repeat characters where you have like that whole ninja clan where it's, Scorpion, you have Sub-Zero, Reptile, and it just keeps going on and on and on. And I mean, yeah, you change the color of the suit and they can do something else. It's not entertaining anymore. But the first one I really liked. I feel like it got the point across. This is what it's about. This is what happens. They win the thing. You move on. That's how the game's played.
So what about the sequel film?
That's crazy. Well, they actually the second one, because people were casted differently. CG was
differently. You still had the same Liu Kang, didn't you?
Yes, and you might have had the same Katana, but Raiden was different. Sonya.
Was Raiden different? Okay.
Raiden became. Oh my goodness, who the hell was it? I can't even think who it was. Because the first one I think was the Highlander, or maybe it's flipped, and the second one was whatever that guy's name is. But yeah,
I haven't seen either of them in so long.
The CG was rough in the second. Like I don't know. The second one just it didn't flow. Even though it was continued from the second. When the first one ends, that's where the second one begins, and it's like, but they did it so wrong, so wrong.
Fair play.
Now they also came out with some like YouTube internet short thing where it was kind of like the 15-minute clips or whatever of each one of the people in hopes to kind of get some money. Those were awesome. I wish that would have went into, somebody would have picked that up.
They were great. I thought some of it was really good. I thought there were some episodes of that that were a little bit like, There was a lot of really good material.
But now there is talks, people going into doing a reboot. So like the stories there, the stories there, you know, a lot of crazy stuff's going on. Some of the things that they're doing, I think, is a little weird. Like, I think Raiden's supposed to be a little kid because like he's frozen in this, you know, eternal life where he doesn't age. So like I guess whatever backstory they have for him. So like it's working on, but they still don't have a cast. But like it's something that will eventually, maybe a year or so, will be done. But it's crazy that they're bringing that back, especially with as many people as there are now. For my, I guess second or third, but kind of going with your Resident Evil in the horror genre. Like I didn't play Resident Evil growing up, but I played Silent Hill. So in that aspect, like playing those games and getting that, I like horror movies in general, but yeah, that I thought was at the time a really good movie. I liked that the graphics from when the siren went off and things started switching, like to me that was awesome, especially for that time, just the way that all that was laid out. The story was a little weird with the little girl backstory, this and that. I like how the second one tied into the third game a little bit better, but I didn't like it as a whole in a movie. The first one, usually the first of everything's always better than anything else. But I mean, I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed how it tied in the end and, you know, left it open for another one. And, oh man, now that we both agreed, I don't know, I'm just still going to have to go with Resident Evil. I mean, like I said, that was...
you can, I mean, we're allowed to agree on stuff as much as we're allowed to disagree on stuff. We're allowed to agree on stuff as well, you know.
When a movie's good, it's good.
It was good. And I mean, the movie does get a lot of crap from a lot of different people, but it was a good horror movie that borrowed enough from the game series that it didn't feel like a cheap ripoff. It felt like a movie that was genuinely trying to tell a different version of a very loved video game story. It was good. You know,
now
it wasn't full B movie, but it wasn't quite a full Hollywood film. But it was good enough. I liked it.
Now, what would you like to see? What do you want to see?
That is a lot easier. that is a lot easier, I think. I'm going to start with a tied third place of Red Dead Redemption / Metal Gear Solid. I think both of those would make basically because I love cowboy movies. I love, you know, action spy movies. And I think Red Dead Redemption just tells a really good cowboy story in an interesting way. And I'd love to see a film adaptation of a cowboy story like that. Like, that would just be cool. And there's you know, you can throw in enough craziness and madness from the games to kind of make an interesting film. Similarly with Metal Gear Solid, it's, you know, you can just make a really good action spy story. And there's just enough weirdness for you to throw in there to make it something a little bit different, a little bit attractive. I'd love to see that. I think it would be awesome.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
That's my tied third place.
I'd love to see Metal Gear. Metal Gear would be cool.
I think so.
Because I feel like you get a gritty James Bond. You know, it's not that clean suit and tie. You know, like you're...
he's more of a badass, like down in the mud, like, yeah, I don't want to get dirty kind of. But I would want to see Denis Villeneuve direct it. I think he's the only person that could pull it off with his style. Because I mean, you look at the first Sicario movie, he has this kind of... Anyway, I'm digressing massively. But anyway, Metal Gear Solid, Denis Villeneuve, please do it. Although he won't, because he's doing sci-fi now and he's doing the Dune movie next. But anyway, so yeah, Red Dead Redemption, Metal Gear Solid. Second place. And this is basically for the same reasons. It's a Fallout movie. I think you look at any of the Fallout games, there's enough social questions that are being asked across the game to make a movie interesting and to lend credence to a wider range of scripts that could make the movie interesting. It's dealing with a not too unbelievable alternate universe in sort of 50s America kind of technology and all that. That would make the film nice and interesting in the way the technology is advanced and the weapons you can have, and all the stuff you could do. And there's enough weirdness. You know, I mean, the film has to have a little bit of weirdness for it to be interesting and different to what's out there. So why not? I mean, there's not enough good post-apocalyptic films out there, and I think that the Fallout series has enough depth to it that it could make a good movie. It's my opinion.
I definitely agree.
And finally, Uncharted. And I mean, anyone who wants to argue that, go play Uncharted 2. It is basically playing a movie. And they struck the perfect balance there between gameplay and cinematic sequences. It's designed to be a film, the whole story. And you can say the same about Last of Us. You can say the same about most modern Naughty Dog games. They're designed to be films.
But they're good.
So anyway, that's they
And, you know, if I can't get my Indiana Jones fix, like, this is the way to get me into that. You know, I want to see a new character, a better character.
Nathan Drake is basically a slightly more sarcastic and fun Indiana Jones. That's all he is, and I think he's cool, and I'd love to see more of that on screen because Harrison Ford can't do Indiana Jones anymore. Let's get someone new. Let's find someone new to do a new character that's like that because it's fun and cool.
Oh yeah, and like, oh man, what is it? Like, oh, Nathan Fillion, maybe as.
Yes, he's too old. No, he's too old. But yes, you're on the right track. 100%. Nathan Fillion as Nathan Drake. Yes.
I think that'd be...
Although, I'd rather just see him do another Serenity film, personally. Like, just in that case, if you're getting him involved, just do Serenity 2 or another Firefly series. I'd be happy with that.
I'm down for that as well. But yeah, no, those are all...
So you're three.
Those are solid Metal Gear Solid choices. Just to kind of mix it up a little bit, because a little weird. I loved the Death Race series type thing. What got me into buying a PlayStation 3 was the Twisted Metal series. And I know, like, they had really good backstories whenever you play the game. And I don't even know how you do it, but if you could somehow make different variants of, like, who won at the end or something to show us that, like an interactive movie maybe, would be pretty sweet. But there's enough...
Do you mean like a video game?
No.
An interactive movie that has different endings. Do you mean like like those games, you know, that you play on computers?
Yeah, you could still read books that says flip to page 53 for this choice. Now, come on. Those were awesome. Those were awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. The next one, it's like I want it, but then I don't want it, would be like The Legend of Zelda. And I don't think... because it does have a lot to do with people, so I figured you could get away with maybe doing a live action there.
I was just about to ask you, would it be better as a live action or an animated? Because I think this is something that would suit better as an animated film.
With all the weird characters and stuff, I mean, I'd go for like the realistic style of the Final Fantasy, you know, but with Link and everything. Just making a movie.
Okay.
Just making a movie, that's all I care about. But yeah, I would probably see it more animated than not. The Twisted Metal would definitely probably be live action. I mean, it's just people in cars.
A lot of CGI, but doable.
Yes. The next one was supposed to be a movie. It was like my favorite game. It was the only game I've ever done comp for, and that was Gears of War. It was supposed to be made. It just slipped through the cracks. I
just don't see it.
I mean, it's a good buddy flick. Like, just the way when you played the game, they got along, they talked, they BS, like, it felt real. It felt like watching Predator for the first time. You know, they had that connection that was believable. Like, yeah, they're acting, but, like, you could tell those people actually liked each other. They hung out with each other. It just had that believability. And that's how these characters were, you know. They had their feelings, you know. It felt like they grew up with each other. And I think it would be cool. I mean, now that the game's like 4, 5 games deep, like, you feel like the story's been told, so you don't really need to have a movie on it. But when the first one came out and it was going to be a thing, like, that was going to be hot. But I still would like to see it.
Fair play.
And then I guess the last thing, it's already a movie that's out. It's kind of like a little bonus thing, is there was a horror movie called Stay Alive. It had, was it Frankie Muniz? I believe is how you say his last name. That's the only celebrity person I could think of, but he's in it. And it's a movie based off, underground video games. So like somebody gets a copy of this underground video game, and like the whole premise is if you die in the game, like that's how you die in real life. So obviously when the person A passes away, all his nerd friends get a copy, and they want to like celebrate by getting into this game that their friend, the virgin game that nobody can touch. They want to get in and play this. So now they're all accepted into the curse or whatever. So it's not based on a video game, it's based through a video game, and as that, it's super awesome movie. So if you haven't, definitely check that one out. It's actually something that isn't just garbage. So they did the movie right. But yeah, I mean, that's
play. Well, we'd love to hear everyone else's opinions on what they think are the best video game films, and what video games they'd like to see as movies. So please, guys, do again drop us some comments in the comments on the stream, or go to our Discords and start the conversation over there. So moving on to our next story, and this is something that I only really, I've known about this game for some time, but I've never considered it to be a top gamer. I've heard a lot of stories about things they've done right, blah blah blah. But we are talking about Warframe, which has recently announced 2 massive new expansions. And when I say massive, I mean huge expansions. And the reason I kind of want to bring this up is because I think this game is a fantastic example of why the video game industry is so varied in the way the companies can make money. Before we get into that, Noobs, have you played Warframe then? Do you know much about it?
I've got a day. I have a day into it.
No, that's usually, that constitutes a good first impression. So, I mean, what was your first impression of the game, playing it for a day?
Going into it, a lot of people like to compare it to Destiny, and I absolutely love Destiny. So when I go into it, I think Twitch at the time was giving away one of these war frames. So that's what kind of suckered me into it, was, hey, I get something free, like I'm going to go check it out. My first impression, I mean, even like watching this character here, it's so fast-paced. Like, when I play a Destiny game, it's slower. I feel like when I'm killing something, like you're saturating, the victory. And anytime I've ever watched any other streamer play this game, they're twirling, flipping, running through each level. And like I that's what lost me, is like I couldn't retain and grasp. Like, it was so fast-paced, which, I mean, I guess for certain people there's nothing wrong with it. But like, I want to savor the game that I'm playing.
Well, just kind of explain to anyone listening who doesn't understand what we're talking about, say, a Warframe. So essentially, and this is how their kind of system, before everyone starts going, boo, microtransactions, boo, wait for it, listen, okay? So what you have in the game is what's called a Warframe, which is essentially a suit of armor of some description that gives you different abilities and allows you to play the game in different ways. And within the game, you can buy different new Warframes. I believe there are ways that you can earn them in game as well. Like Noobs just said, you can get them from like Twitch Prime giveaways or other giveaways and competitions, I'm sure. So there's other ways to earn them, but you can buy them in game. And supposedly these Warframes don't necessarily give you an advantage in any. It just gives you a different experience. And this is how they use microtransactions. It's not a pay-to-win scenario in any way. It is literally just, you can have these extra things if you want to buy them, but the game is free. I massively support it. I think it highlights that you can have a positive microtransaction ecosystem. It does show that you don't have to subscribe to the way that everybody says is the way to make money in video games. This game's been free since 2013. You've been able to play it for free since 2013. That's 5 years of content that they've been adding to this game. Instead of going, people don't like it on release and binning it, they've worked on it. They've taken something they care about and made it better to the point it's a fantastic game now, supposedly. I haven't tried it. I'm definitely going to. And they've just added more. And this goes back to what I said about significant expansions. Right, so listen to this. Warframe is a free-to-play cooperative third-person shooter video game. Blah blah blah. That's not what I want. Where are we? All right, Warframe will get 2 expansions over the next 2 years. Developer Digital Extremes said this weekend. The first, called Fortuna, includes a new cyberpunk-themed open-world era on Venus. Now, first of all, cyberpunk-themed, I'm in, full stop. And will arrive before the end of the year. The second, planned for 2019, is an entirely new mode. Pay attention to that. Entirely new mode, currently called codename Railjack, that will let teams of players crew warships in space in the vein of Sea of Thieves. So, yeah, when I say significant expansion pack, it's literally changing the way that you can play the game. That's how significant it is. And it's free. It's entirely free. And all they say is, if you do like the game, buy something. That's it. And they've made a living out of it. And it just goes to show that there is a market for microtransactions if done right. I mean, what are your thoughts on microtransactions? Well, I'm sure you've come across them yourself.
Like I said, I didn't even know this game per se had it. But I've ran into it. I love Fortnite, and it's there. But like you said, it's not pay to win. It's your ship skin, or you get a different variant of this or that. Look different, play different. And I'm okay with that. I mean, I can't afford it, so it's not like I'm out buying $20 skins in Fortnite weekly every time they come out.
That's the point. You have the choice.
But I also like how Fortnite has theirs, where if you do the initial battle pass the first time, as long as you're playing, you can earn enough to buy the next one, so you don't have to continue the buy, and you get stuff. You get your skins, you get your emotes, dances, and all that other stuff for just a flat fee. And I'm like, I was okay with that. So it's not like it was a recurring thing. They gave you the ability to earn your next season pass. And yeah, I mean, I feel like if that's what they're doing and it works and it can support their system, and they're actually, like you said, 2013, if they're still upgrading and doing all this crazy stuff, it's actually a company that cares. They weren't trying to get you out the gate.
Cycle for a game.
And like you said, I mean, it has its story and kind of like the mild staleness, which is like map upgrades, but now they're going to do game-changing upgrades, like the whole formula of the game. They're going to give you like the ship battle stuff, and it's like they're taking it to a whole nother level, still without costing you money.
Different skill to learn within the game. Yeah, it is. It's an entirely different skill to learn within the game. It's expanding just how big the game is overall on a massive level. And now I do want to be clear, we are not talking about loot boxes. I think some people sometimes get confused between the two. Now, loot boxes are a type of microtransaction, but that doesn't mean that microtransactions are loot boxes. Okay, loot boxes are randomized things where you purchase this box, but you don't know what's in it, and when you open it, you get a random random items given to you. That's not what we're talking about. All right. Within Warframe, there is a very, very specific thing where if you want that item, you can spend money on having that item, and it allows you to play the game in a different manner. That's what we're talking about. I'm all for that, especially if you're giving the main game for free. If you're still making us pay for the main game, so, well, no, I've bought a full product, and now you're telling me that I've got to pay more to actually get the full product. That doesn't work. That doesn't fly with me at all. I've already given you money. I want the full product. As opposed to, okay, you're giving me 90% of the product and I can buy little bits and pieces there. Yeah, that's fine as well. But I'm not paying for that 90% of the product if I'm still paying for the other 10% that I've got to get extra. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and sometimes it's, you're buying a better weapon, or you're buying a faster car, or this or that, and it's like that's when it definitely becomes BS. Is where somebody can get a leg up on me because they got more money in their bank and just sit down and buy buy stuff all day.
Any game who does pay to win game, I'm sorry, just go fuck yourself straight away, because you're just excluding people from having any kind of competitive chance in your game. And guess what? Within 6 months, we're not going to be happy, and we're going to stop playing your game. Yeah. It's not like you're helping yourselves make more money long term. Yeah, you'll make a lot of money like short term, because rich kids are rich kids. They like to buy stupid stuff, and that's not going to change. But it's not a way to nurture a player base. It's just not. And we've proven that. So any game that still does it, just go fuck yourself. I'm sorry.
Yeah, anyway, legit, Destiny 2.
Yeah. And there's, yeah.
Yeah. I've watched videos where people dump $200 and like they'll click every one of those the orbs or the engrams or whatever, the bright ones, and get nothing. $200 for nothing. Yeah. And I was like, no, at that point, yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, there's a lot of examples. There really is. And I think people are far more aware of it, and I do hope that it's just a trend that we see transitioning out over time. Right, so yeah, again, guys, tell us what you think about that. Drop us some comments in the comments or on Discord. We'd love to hear what you think about microtransactions within games and how they can be used in a positive manner to help developers, to help a game, and to help the player get more out of their experience. So our next story today is Overwatch's highest level player games 12 hours per day on top of his job. Now, this doesn't seem like a significant story, but I think there is a very, very significant undertone to this story that I do want to talk about. Have you followed this much, Noob?
That I have not. Not this particular person or case, but I mean the whole, just people putting in massive amount of time to be the best, to get the #1 spot, to do this. So
before we get into that, let's break down this story. Okay, so earlier this month, although I believe this is a slightly old story than I thought, but a guy going by the username of TreeBoyDave, sorry, not guy, a person, I hate to assume his gender, but going by the username TreeBoyDave, became the first person to ever hit level 6,000 in Overwatch, a climb to the top of the 40 million player heap that he estimates has taken him 9,000 hours. Despite that, he says he's not even close to ready to hang up his keyboard. TreeBoyDave is currently level 6,087, although you said something earlier that is different to this?
Yeah, so I just pulled up the thing. So this, them just giving that 6,000 number was a few days ago? Yeah, literally Thursday. So a few days ago, this guy, and I don't know how long it takes to level. We're watching a video from yesterday, and he's at 6,116. So he's already gone up 116 levels since Thursday.
Since the article came out.
Since the article came out talking about him hitting 6,000. Like, and with any level system, your experience gets higher the higher level you go. So it takes longer to hit each level, normally in a leveling system. And this person, I think I fast forward through like 3 of his videos. Like, he's getting multiple levels in a 9-hour video. So like, this guy is going ham on these games.
Well, I think we'll get to what I feel about that specifically. Just very quickly before we carry on, anyone who's watching on my stream specifically, if you want to catch the full thing, please go over to Noob Television's stream. He's got the full show on there. We're just using mine camera anyway. We go watch over there. So carrying on with the story. So he's 6,100 and whatever, like an extra 160 levels since Thursday, which is just it's just madness. I mean, where do you start with this? I mean, he estimates he's got a full-time job. This isn't his full-time job. He's not a gamer full-time. He plays video games 12 hours a day. I mean, at what point do we start saying this is a problem? This is an obsession this man has. Like, this is some kind of dysphoria that he's got that's forcing him to constantly play video games so that he is the best. He has the highest level. Like, are we really saying that it's okay to behave like this? Is it normal?
No, I'm getting tired just watching.
This is like, I'm genuinely asking, like, is it okay for us to behave like this? I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I love playing video games, but playing 12 hours every day, I mean, what the hell else? I mean, do you ever clean your house? I mean, if you've got a normal job, if you've got a day job to support this habit, that's going to take up a fair amount of time. To spend that much time gaming outside of a full-time job
and
is
sleep
insane.
and cleaning.
Yeah.
No, I do have to admit,
generally take care of yourself as a human being. You know?
I do have to admit, I was laid off for about 4 months, and I did get sucked into World of Warcraft, and I feel like I did 12 to 16 hours a day, but I didn't have a job.
Look,
but I mean that I was way younger, you know, where you could pull 24-hour stuff.
That's the thing. When you're a kid, and I mean, I never did. Sake. But you know, you can get away with it when you're younger, and at certain stages in your life, you can play more than you normally do. I know.
I sure can't do it now.
Well. God no, I've got a full-time job. I barely have enough time to stream like 3 hours a day. Like, I don't even do that. I do 3 hours every second day, pretty much. I don't play video games outside of that. This guy plays 12. Like, maybe he has some kind of job where he's like a freelance designer or something. He's probably very good at his job, makes a lot of money doing it, and that is why he has all this time to play video games. It's still not healthy to spend literally half of a 24-hour day doing the same activity constantly. You know, I mean, like, people like to go to the gym and stay fit. They don't go and spend 12 hours in the gym working out every day. It's ridiculous.
Hour before work.
Yeah, it's like I barely do like 4 hours a week at the moment going to the gym, but like you just don't see people going to the gym for like 12 hours at a time. They might go for 2 hours or 3 hours, but 12 hours, it's ridiculous. You'd say they were obsessed. You would say they were addicted to going to the gym, and you would seek medical help for them so they could overcome this problem. Why is it in video games this is okay? Why is it fine for them to do this? And I know a lot of streamers do it as well, and I don't want to take anything away from streamers who do stream for long periods of time. All I'm saying is that is not healthy for your mental health. You need to keep a check on that, seriously, because I think it is a very serious problem.
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, because now in technology in today's society, like, they have to make apps to keep you on check for things like that. Stuff to go, you know, they have streamer apps where, like, every 4 hours a buzzer goes off and says you better drink water. You know, even companies are taking notice to it, to where if you're on Mixer, you know, you get an email from Microsoft saying, hey, we've noticed that you've been streaming for a while, like, you know, go outside, you know, go see the sun, take a break, you know, because they notice that you're doing abnormal amounts of streaming. So I mean,
that's good. That is good. I'm glad, but I don't think that's enough, because I'll send them an email saying, look, you know, you've been doing this quite a while. Yeah, 12 hours every single day for the past God knows how many years. That's doing it for a little while. But I think the community drives the kind of perception that this is okay. I think they do, and I think as streamers we have a responsibility to talk about this more, because guess what? We're the people they're emulating. It's streamers that they're emulating. You see these guys do these, and again, I don't want to put down anyone who does this. I don't want to put down anyone who does do exceptionally large amounts of streaming. I understand that you guys are making a living and you're doing everything you have to do that. All I'm saying is it's not healthy, and as an industry, there should be things in place to help you not have to do that, because it's not good for you, and it's only going to cause you problems further down the line. In my opinion.
Oh yeah, and yeah, you got to definitely take care of you, because once you go down, then you can't do the things that you love, the streaming and all that. So like, you definitely want to have, you know, a solid balance between, you know, regular life.
But this is the thing, by people who are watching streamers do, you know, 12-hour, 24-hour, dude, just go fucking put a noose around your neck and jump out of a window. Like, seriously, you were trying to kill yourself by doing that. Because
people die all the time.
Exactly. These stories are not hidden. They're not like a myth or anything. It happens. Like, there was a story not so long ago about a guy who, on Twitch, he was doing one of these 24-hour streams. Now, apparently it's not something he does regularly, but he was doing a 24-hour stream, and he got up from his computer to go have a cigarette and just never came back. He had like an aneurysm or something. It was like it was something stupid, like 22 hours into a stream and like that. He got up to go outside for a cigarette and he just never came back. He just dropped dead on the spot because he was living such an unhealthy lifestyle from doing these kind of things that his body just gave up, pretty much. And yeah, I just think people should be more aware of it, and people should be more aware of the consequences of doing these kind of things to yourself. Because yeah, they see us as streamers doing these things, and gamers think it's okay. So they sit and they play video games for 12 hours, 16 hours straight. It's not good for you. It's not okay. Please don't do it. That's me off my soapbox. I'm done.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely have. I like where.
Or am I wrong? I mean, is
you're
okay?
Definitely not wrong.
Is it okay to sit and play video games for 12 hours straight, you know?
I love me some video games, but yeah, it's definitely... Even like my friends with kids, you know, they're like, oh, you play video games. My kids play video games. And they expect me to just be like, oh, that's cool. And I'm kind of like, hey, maybe you should cut back a little bit. Or like, my one friend has a really, like 6 or 7 year old son playing Grand Theft Auto. And I'm just like, maybe that's not the right game. Like, you should pick up a Nintendo Switch or something like that,
Yeah.
But it's because that's what he owns, and when he's gone, he's like, oh, well, he can jump on and drive around. But I'm like, when I come over, your son's not driving around. Like, he's shooting stuff, or doing crazy stuff. And it's like, yeah, there has to be, some kind of something, to regulate. So even though I'm a gamer, yeah, there's just a point where even myself, I have to get off. Like, I try to make it a midnight. At midnight, I get off regardless. That's my let's go lay down. Even if I'm in the heat of the battle, like we're shutting down at midnight. Because if not, then next thing you know, it's 6 a.m. I haven't eaten, haven't drank.
I think that, and this does touch on, I think, a slightly different conversation, which, again, I would love to have at some point on here, which Casil touches on, which is, he says, I love how they give trust to a 5 or 6 year old. And I think that does open a very, very different conversation in terms of parenting and how parents can be more responsible with video games. But that comes down to an education thing, I think. But anyway, that's a slightly different point. But yeah, I think as gamers, we need to be more responsible. We do. It is completely open market. They don't check these things. There's no education around, no real education or no real social understanding of how many hours should you play a day. Well, we're not going to tell you that. You should have the common sense to know that playing 3 hours on the weekend, that's fine. Playing 64 hours in the space of 4 days, I don't even know if that's mathematically possible, but if it is, like, you should know that that's just wrong. Like, you shouldn't do that. But we need to take more responsibility. Like, if your friends do that, we should be able to say, dude, come on. Like, that's not healthy for you. Let's go for a walk in the park. Let's go to a museum, or let's go for a drink. I don't care. Just get you out of the house. Like, just be sensible. That's all.
Oh, yeah. And I've seen a lot of people where they'll offer, like, we have gold here, or like bits and stuff, where, like, when somebody donates, like, that's for you to drink some water, to get up and do a jumping jack, or just get active in some way, just make it a thing, where you can interact with people and still get out there, be healthy. Yeah, you don't want your passion to kill you.
Well, guys, we'd love to hear you guys talk with us about these discussions. So again, I do urge you, go into our Discords, or even just add in the comments outside of these shows, just anything you guys want to talk about. I want to have these conversations with everyone. I want to have these conversations with as many people as possible, because I think we need to have them. So please come to talk to us. Don't be shy. Let's open up more conversations. Let's talk about more important issues like this. But that's it for our main stories for this week. So we're now moving into our featurettes, as I like to call them.
The funny story.
We start off with a nice, fun little story from the world of Fortnite. And I know we've spoken about this a couple of times. And it's it is quite cool, the stuff that they do. And I think they have a really good handle on the community. So this is now the Fortnite burger, which you see on screen now, the Der Burger, which is a big sign in the game, has inextricably disappeared for the game and appeared on Earth in a desert in real life. It's obviously part of the new narrative that they're creating within the game. And I think it's just cool. I think it's fun that they don't have to do that kind of stuff. They don't have to build a giant fucking burger and go and put it out in the desert somewhere. Like, they do that off their own backs with their own money. And I just think it's cool. And I think they've clearly got a grasp of community development and how to just keep the community interested. And it's cool. I'm in. What do you think?
I love it. And I love that they change. Like, every game is just set in stone and you get downloadable maps and all this new stuff. Like, the way Fortnite does it is you live their world for a season and then it changes and you're stuck with that new world. So it's not like you ever get to play the same boring stuff. It's always ever changing. And I like that they're kind of theming stuff. And I like that, they had these rifts in time. And then stuff it went both ways, where, the Der Burger ended up there, but then in their trailer, one of the characters was basically spraying the Der Burger out in the field. And then what happened was the rift happened, and then now in-game is now the desert with the golf course and all this crazy stuff. So they took to them, stuff in the real world and brought it into the game. Yeah. That's kind of how it was. And I think that's super cool. And even with that, there's predictions, because you got like it was like a treasure hunt. So you get this little card that kind of gives you the next piece of the puzzle. So people are going, oh my God, what's going to happen? Because not only did the Durburger leave, but the Tomato Town Tomato Head disappeared as well. So now, like, people are on treasure hunts to figure out where this next piece of the puzzle is going to be. So in a sense, it reminded me of like how Pokemon Go got people out, that now like Fortnite fanatics are kind of going, we're on a treasure hunt now. So, I mean, it's a little different because you can Pokemon anywhere. You had to be in California to see that. So, I mean, it makes it harder to get around. But for the people that are close by, it's cool that they can have this connection between the real world, the game, and yeah, like you said, I think it's super cool. So I do like what they're doing, and it's a free game. Like, they're doing all this at no.
I was just gonna say
initial cost.
I was just gonna say there is this fantastic trend at the moment. Even some of the games talked about here just today in this show. Warframe, free game, all about building good content for players to engage with. Fortnite, it's a free game, all about creating good content, interesting content that players will engage with. I definitely think there's a trend here that people aren't seeing, that yeah, you can make a free game and be successful. It's all about the quality of content in the game.
Yeah.
Right? And this is what I think a lot of developers are missing. If you want to make money as a video game developer, make better quality content. And this is where I think EA are so desperately wrong. Ubisoft are so desperately wrong. They're just not getting this. Make quality content. You will make money from us. We will buy it. We don't care how much it costs half the time. If it's good enough, we will buy it. Just make it worth it for us. You know, don't forget all these business strategies and then marketing models and everything. Just make better games. That's it. Not hard. It's not difficult. just do it better. All right. Stop fussing about the business. It'll take care of itself.
Then not only like the Durburger, I think that's a cool little character there, but talking about skins, like they need to bring this. That's what we need right there. We need the Durburger skin. They did have the Tomato Town skin.
That is amazing. Just to interrupt you there for a second. Andrew449, thank you very much for joining my stream. If you want to watch the full podcast with all the nice stuff and everything, you might have to go over to Noob Television's stream. He's got the full show and you can go and enjoy it there. Thank you very much for the follow. Carry on. Yes, the Durburger skin. I'm in. Well, because
yeah, they have the Tomato Town skin, and I like that. That was cool. And then like this was an artist rendering, you know, of what they would like to see, but I saw this and I was like, yes, that's what I want. I would give money for that. I want that.
All I want to see in one of these games, all I want to see Metal Gear Solid box skin. That's all I want.
That would be awesome.
That's all I want. I want the Metal Gear Solid cardboard box skin. It would just be hilarious.
All I can think about is funny story last week with that. With the people. That still cracks me up. With the Metal Gear Solid.
Oh yeah, the bumbling Canadian robbery.
Oh my god, that was awesome.
as much as that is what's wrong with the human race, that is also just so much of what's right with it at the same time, because we're hilarious as a species. So moving on to our last little feature of the day, and that is our GameSpot. I know nothing about this. Noobs, take it away.
Okay, so when I was digging around, because I've been wanting a really awesome Metrovania something or another. I like that style, the Castlevania, and
that's the Durburger skin.
Oh,
that's still the Durburger skin that you've shown us.
There we go.
There we go.
Well, it was up like 5 different times, so I was kind of confused there. I was like trying to get rid of it in the wrong places. But yeah, okay, so this is your Castlevania RPG, whatever. But I love I don't know, like the other day I was talking to somebody about Napoleon Dynamite. I was looking into this, I saw this, and that's the first thing that I saw. And I thought it was hilarious. And, but yeah, I mean, something like this, it looks super fun. You can upgrade your character. I believe it's might be $10 in the Steam store. But yeah, I mean, it's for $10, you're getting a 15-ish hour game.
Yeah.
I think there's like over 40 different skills that you can do to upgrade, to buy. I don't know. It's funny as hell. Like I can't even watch it because like it, it's just
I'm kind of trying to work out actually what the hell this game is about.
I don't know, man. It looks it's so Napoleon Dynamite. That's all I can think about. It's so
it definitely has that feel to it, and I love it. Yeah, it's just I'm in. Take my money. How much is it?
I believe it was $10 in the Steam store.
Yeah,
and it's actually. And then the music for like the intro thing is just I don't know. It just got me.
You say it's 40 hours of gameplay. Is that what you said?
15 hours. 40 different skills.
Sorry, 15 hours. That's it. 15 hours for $10. Yeah, worth it. It looks hilarious enough. I'd enjoy that. Super Daryl Deluxe. Yeah, I'll buy it.
Super Daryl Deluxe. The name, I mean,
right.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah. Why not? Well, that's it for us today, guys. We hope that you've had a great time here today. We hope that you've learned something and enjoyed it. Please do share the podcast if you want to. We will have this the recording of the show on YouTube hopefully tomorrow, Noobs.
Yep, usually by noon.
Brilliant. So go and check that out if you came halfway through the show. Go tell your friends, your family, your mom, your dad, everyone who cares about. Come and watch us and give us a little bit of support. Yeah, that's it from us. Again, if you'd like to see specific stories, please do leave us suggestions in either of our Discords. Follow us both on Caffeine, our Twitters, all that sort of stuff is around the screen everywhere. And yeah, any last words, Noobs? Any last words, Noobs? That's it.
Double, triple, quadruple checked. It's $19.99. The soundtrack was $10, so I keep forgetting that Steam sells soundtracks separate, so I always get confuzzled on who's what where. But yeah, other than that, I mean, yeah, just like the Gingerback said, you know, I probably end up making a section in Discord just for this show where people can just, so you're not looking around, where you can pinpoint where. Oh, see, he can't hear me either. Where you can actually pinpoint where the suggestion is, and then you can leave stuff there, you know, for topics, or maybe you just want to talk, you know, after the show's over and we're already gone. If you just want to, like, you know, just text talk, we can talk in there about subjects and things like that if you want to discuss them even more.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to come talk to us now, we in the Noob-TV Discord server. We're going to be in a chat room called the After Stream Party. You guys can all come and hang in there. Darkest, yeah, we have had a few more audio issues this week, so sorry if you couldn't hear him. Audio was fine on my stream for some reason, but we fixed the video. Fixed for the YouTube show. We fixed the video. We got the video better. So baby steps. But yeah, if you guys want to come hang out with us, we'll be in the Noob Television Discord's After Stream Party channel. Come and share your thoughts with us, guys. I think we touched on a lot of important topics, and I'd love to hear what you guys think, and love to hear if you guys think differently, and if you have another side to the argument. We always want to learn, don't we, Noobs?
Full of information. I want to know it all. Tell me.
Let's do it. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, everyone. To the chat room. Please do come and join us. And yeah, thank you very much for watching the show.
Until next time, you guys have a great weekend.
Take care.
So many buttons in the broadcast. Go over here.